So we have light, medium, extra, extra heavy. And the reason why we have the jump is because I've already broken the extra heavy as well as just the heavy. I've done light before many times, especially whenever I broke my ankle. Coming back, you want to start light. You don't go straight from an injury into extra heavy. You need to build functionality, you need to build movement, you need to do it at a healthy speed. A healthy speed is a controlled speed. If you just do everything fast and you don't have the actual movement, you're actually going to probably produce another injury or re-injure. So in anything you do, make sure the movement is controlled, and then you can build strength, resistance, and then speed as well. The first one we're gonna do, some people call them monster walks, call it whatever you'd like, but you're gonna start with your legs shoulder width or just outside shoulder width apart. You're gonna go forward. Knees are slightly bent, and all you're gonna do is take a step forward, keeping the toes straight. My body is straight, and then I'm gonna bring the other foot equal to the first foot. Up, a foot, back up, up. And you're trying to keep, as you move, your feet outside that range. So shoulder to outside, don't let them come in. You can, but for the most part, you're trying to keep them shoulder width outside that, working it forward. Now this goes and depends on how many you're trying to do. Once you've done it, can you go backwards? Toes are straight, nice and controlled. If you want to get your arms moving, completely up to you, but you're trying to keep your glutes engaged, your hamstrings engaged, and do controlled movements going forward and backwards. And as you build into this, what's going to happen is you're going to get a bit of fatigue, and it's going to start to burn a little, and that's not a bad thing. The only thing you don't want to do is overdo it, as in burn it for too long, because this is a little bit of a workout. This should be a warm-up before you train. I like to go 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 12, just depending on the day, what time of the week, but I would do this before games, I'll do this before trainings, and all you're doing is little functioning work. Nice and controlled, toes are facing forward, everything is perfect in this exercise. Once you go forwards, go backwards. If you want more of a challenge, wider, back, controlled, back. Keep going, keeping the toes straight. And that's what we have for monster walks. Next one, lateral walks with the band. On my ankles, my feet are gonna start just outside my shoulder frame. So about shoulder frame, you have a little resistance, and all I'm gonna do is go laterally out. I'm gonna push off my left foot. I'm gonna keep this foot nice and locked in the sense, you'll see what I mean by that. My knees are slightly bent, and all I'm gonna do is, as they're slightly bent, as you can see, I'm gonna push this foot up and extend out. Straighten out this foot, bring it back, but keep it outside my shoulder width. Out, this foot stays the same, back. Out, boom. Toes are pointing forward. Trying to keep my trunk where it is and stable. I'm not trying to go sloshing this way or forward and backwards. I'm trying to keep it nice and engaged where it is. Straighten out the leg, back. Get your arms involved. This is functional movement. Once you've done however many you're trying to do, 8, 10, 12, whatever it is with the resistance, go back the other way. You want to make sure we get both our feet. Even if you're coming off an injury, it's so important to work both feet, whether it's your right or your left, because you want to make sure it's equal in the sense of the resistance training that you're doing. If you have one muscle group or one leg that's stronger than the other, how can you make it more equal, even equilibrium? Okay, this is predominantly from knee recovery, knee exercises, things for ACLs, meniscus, all of it, LCLs, X's and O's. And all you're gonna do is, as you see, there's a bit of resistance on the band. I'm gonna use my right foot to begin with. My left foot is locked in. My right foot is doing the work. So I'm going to go externally. So I'm going outwards, back in. As you see, the foot kind of comes up, and all I'm doing is creating a little bit of resistance on the outside from the band, and I'm bringing it back in. That's all I'm doing. External work. Boom, bring it back in. Bring it back in. Now, if it's too easy, then all you do is you just make harder resistant bands. A lot of the pros will just use black bands. There's not light, medium, extra heavy. It's all pretty much extra heavy because they just want it quick. If you do that one, then you go into your left and you move them from there. Lovely. All right, so we've worked on a little bit of around the ankles, around the knees. This one's on the ground. Basically, your toes are straight. What we're focusing on is our hip, all right, a hip thrust. You're trying to squeeze your glutes as you come up. You're gonna be on your back, chest and everything is facing up, arms to the side, my toes should be straight, and right now I have a bit of resistance around my knees. If you want a bit more resistance, squeeze it just outside that shoulder frame, and all you're doing is squeezing up, hold, 1, 2, 3, back down. 1, 2, 3, back down. Now as you do this, you're trying to squeeze your glutes right here. Glutes and hamstrings, trying to tighten them up, and we're trying to engage them. And I say engage because a lot of times when we do movements, we just do them naturally, but we don't think of what muscle groups, or we don't try to think of what muscle groups we're engaging. So when you're running, are you thinking, all right, time to engage my quad, my hamstring? No. So you're trying to warm up your muscles before you get into activity. And this is a good one to engage more the trunk area, the glutes, a little bit of the hips as you do these hip thrusts. With all the pressure we put on our bodies as soccer players, we think we play with our feet, we run, so that's predominantly our hamstrings, our calves, our quads, things like that, but we don't think enough about our trunk or our lower back or core. You play more on soccer turf, or sorry, if you play more on turf, a lot of the pounding we receive tends to create back pain. So this will help with engaging our trunk, as well as a little bit of flexibility in the hamstring, because a lot of our back is affiliated with our hamstring. So the tighter our hamstrings are, the tighter our back is being pulled, the tighter our back is, the tighter our hamstrings can be. So this is injury prevention for both. And all you're gonna do is, gonna face up, legs are straight, whichever leg comes across, you're trying to reach it with your hand if you can, and all you're doing is coming back in. So as you do this, you'll feel it back here. Is my chest open? Can you have your chest open? I could be a little better, but it's not bad. And all you're doing is coming across your body. Have your head facing up, come across your body. As you see, the leg that's not in action, so right now it's my right leg, it's trying to be straight. You feel it here and along your back line as you open up. Now this is really important because what action in the game do we use that's similar to this? Coming across our body with a strike, across, a shot. All of these are really impactful to similar movements that we do and have in the game of soccer. A lot of soccer players now are getting into yoga, and there's a lot of reasons why. I think yoga is a fantastic stretching routine. For us before, again, this exercise will be a trunk exercise. My chest is gonna be on the floor. My head is facing straight. It's not gonna be coming across, right? We're trying to engage certain muscle groups rather than others. And as it comes about, as I come and do this, my foot's gonna come across. I'm gonna try and touch my hands if I can. Now, if you can't, that's no problem. You're trying to do little inches more into better flexibility. So chest is on the floor, my legs are straight. Kind of like a cross. Coming back and around. Now this is okay if this opens up. Trying to get my chest on the floor. And then I'm gonna switch. You will feel this in your lower back. It's really important that we stretch our lower back and warm up our lower back. Because everything in the body goes through our trunk. And our trunk is our abs, our back, our glutes, our hips. And the body is a chain. So if one piece of our body, from a muscle standpoint, is weak or injured or fragile, it's gonna affect the rest of it. So it's really important that we do a full body warm up to make sure we're nice and ready to go. And that should be it.